Cousin, joined by Michelle Snow, fresh off her Eat the Cake tour. Eat the Cake tour. Michelle Snow, welcome to the program.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about this Eat the Cake tour. What's the purpose of it?
Oh gosh, well first of all, forgive me for just a moment while I calm down and float back into the seat, because I know that I'm here in one of the most premier shows of Philadelphia. I've had the pleasure of seeing the greats who are a part of this segment, from Frankie Darcell to many more. So thank you so much for selecting me. I'm truly honored.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
So you want to know about the Eat Cake tour,
The
right?
Eat Cake tour, tell us a little about it.
So this was birthed from me really enjoying birthdays, right? And so my birthday is in January, and I've always been spoiled. My family's always given me birthday parties. I like birthday parties and I like cake, right? But as a career coach, it would look really selfish to just go around and just eat cake. So I said, how do I enjoy my birthday, have a good time, but it still be impactful? It's still a way of giving back and meshing my brand and something personal together. So the team and I came up with the concept of going out literally into our community, highlighting and showcasing small businesses, brick and mortars and startups, and showcasing their work. Doing what? Drum roll, please.
Eating the cake.
Eating cake, right?
Understood.
So they were kind of like little trophies from the businesses and from the leadership in the community, and welcome me into their establishment. And then in return, we were highlighting and sharing the great work that they're doing. And so I also like to consider that how we highlight local heroes.
And tell us a little bit about the business community in Philadelphia. While you were out there on this Eat Cake tour, what did you learn about the small business community here in Philly?
Well, all small businesses have something very much in common. They are living their passion out loud and are using what they have to make their dream work. All of them are very essential in wanting to give quality to their community. We work in our brand very hard to only associate with leaders and professionals who are integral, who have good quality products, who truly want to give back and make a difference. And so when we went into these businesses and churches and studios and homes, because it was a little bit of everything. We even went to church on the Eat Cake tour, right?
Okay, yeah.
The goal was to show the diversity in our local communities, that you can be inspired in any environment, and that people are actually doing work to better our households.
So you are a Forbes career coach as well as a professional speaker. Let's go back to your youth. When you were a kid, did you think you would actually be a professional speaker or career coach?
All I knew as a child is that I always got in trouble for talking too much.
Too much? In class, in school, or was it talking too much at home back to your mom and dad?
I just got in trouble at large for talking too much. Right?
Okay.
And so that's also from being an only child. When there's so much focus on you growing up as a child, you don't know that maybe you should stop or quit or take a chill pill. And so I grew up with a mother who just really embraced me and allowed me to just work out any of my dreams all the time. And so what looked like the annoying kid or the kid that talked too much or liked attention, they were grooming what would one day be a speaker. Here we are. And I like to equate it to Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy said that his mother thought that something was wrong with him because he was always playing or being silly or being just too playful.
Yeah.
And so for me, I wasn't that kid, but I was always in somebody's business. I gotta tell you an example.
Yes.
When I say in somebody's business, I don't mean meddling to cause confusion. I meant that I really thought that I could save the world. And one of my childhood friends would always say to me, hey, are you still trying to save the world? Now, as a sidebar, let me say that I thought he meant like church, you know, he used to talk everybody to the Savior, right?
Okay, sure, yeah.
But 20 years later, I realized he meant, are you still in people's business trying to help everybody? Are you still trying to save the world? So he saw it even as a teenager. And one of the last acts of kindness that really shifted my life was I saw a childhood friend on the corner, and she was homeless. And she says, I had no place to go, I just had a baby. I said, no problem. Come to my house and you can live with me. Now, I didn't have a house. Mom had a house.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you double check with your parents, or did you just kind of pull her in?
So I went home and I said, Mom, I just saw my friend. She's homeless, she has a baby. She's gonna live with us.
Yeah, okay.
That's probably what my mother said. Hence, her son is now 30 years old, and he's been with us ever since. So I gave these different examples because, you know, there are some children who grew up and they're bouncing the ball. There are some children who grew up who are playing doctor. There are other girls who are doing dress up. People like me are saving, supporting, sharing, going, and that was my passion for what I do today.
Understood, yeah. Let's stay in your youth, stay in your teenage years, even your single digit years. Give us a challenge. What's some challenges that you had growing up? I'm quite sure you had at least one challenge, outside of you yapping all the time.
You have to understand how significant that was and how much trouble that always got me in. I think that overall, my challenge was that I was just a little too sassy. So I wasn't, you know, I never faced some other challenges. I never went to jail or anything like that. My challenge was, she talks too much, she's smart-mouthed, she always has something to say, she does her own thing. And that, that was the making of the beast for where we are today, because that always wanting to be outside the box, do something different. And I would say, now that I'm saying it out loud to you, I was probably one who did not do well with rules, who didn't do well with straight line perimeters. I always saw, well, what if we just did it like that? And
now this is interesting that you say you never did good with rules, because ultimately you found yourself in a corporate America job, which is nothing but rules. What time you have to be there, what time you have to take lunch, nothing but rules in corporate America. So how did you survive corporate America? Aha, I see.
Corporate America was absolutely necessary for me, because that was where I realized that I needed to learn how to color in the lines, even if I had the choice to go outside. That was where I learned to control my emotions, where I learned stick-to-itiveness, how to overcome being frustrated, that despite my feelings being hurt, or despite feeling like I should have been given the opportunity, that I had to still show up, get dressed every day, do that job, have a smile, perform. See, in my youth, those were not perimeters I was given. But at the job, oh baby, because they were sending that paycheck.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I had to learn how to appreciate discipline. And thank God, because it was there is when I found out what I was actually good at.
Understood. So let's talk about that, what you're actually good at. We all have gifts and talents. You discovered your gifts and talents. Tell us, why did God give us Michelle Snow? Why would he do such a thing? What was he thinking?
So when I think about that question, I have been through so many different trials and experiences that a lot of my colleagues and peers have not, right? So I grew up in church, where I learned how to do leadership and to do ministry, but I also experienced what people like to identify as church hurt, right? I'm going through that and going through spiritual brokenness. So I understand how powerful it is to be connected to a source that's higher than yourself. Then having had the pleasure of thriving and surviving and learning corporate America, and appreciating ultimately that everyone is unique and they have something so special. I don't believe in making people fit my cookie cutter situation. Be you. Oh, you a double dutch teacher, contest maker, breaker. That's what you do? Oh, okay. The world needs double dutch. And so my clients get excited because there's no bias. I never say, well, I know you want to be a technician, but wouldn't it be nice if you did? This is where you are. I'm going to love you right where you are, and let's make that work.
You know, you're actually leading up to our very next discussion because I'm curious, what separates your brand of career coaching from other types? Because there are tons of career coaches out there, but there's something unique and special about your brand. What makes you different?
I would say that fortunately, I'm in an industry with many incredible professionals. My colleagues have expertise that are second to none because many of us choose this lane because we've had experiences in corporate, we've gotten education, and we want to take it and give it back to our people. So what we all share in common is some sort of expertise in education development, and leadership development, right? That's the core nucleus for all of us. When we begin to break out and find our differences is the added value. So the added value for me and those associated with me is that we're full cycle. You don't just come, get coached, learn a skill set, and become better in that one area. We teach you how to live purposefully from the inside out. So I'm coming to the birthday party, I'm coming to the baby shower, we're going to church together, we're going to pray together, we're going to network together, I'm coming to your event. So that's why people find value here, because it's not just, oh, I just learned this one skill set. Michelle was really in my life and I'm a better person now because I went through her company.
It sounds as though there's a sense of family with the Michelle Snow brand, the Michelle Snow company. If you're going to come to my baby shower, if you're going to come to my wedding, you're like my sister, you're like my aunt. It's a sense of family. Am I correct there?
Yeah, I get in trouble with that with my team because they tell me privately in our meetings, you are not Aunt Snow. And I say, I am Aunt Snow. And so I take, this is probably not the best way to approach business. You should always be very clear that your clients come to you for service and deliver. So we do that first. But when you're helping people to be more purposeful, teaching them to be more of a servant leader, praying with people, hearing their personal stories, people going through divorce, family challenges, sometimes emotional stress, spiritual issues. Personally, how can I not fall in love with these people? How can I not go beyond the line of, I'm just coaching you? I fall in love with my clients, so I do take them very personally. And that, to me, I don't apologize for. How can I coach you and not see you as a total person? I know that someone's struggling and going through emotional distress. Their marriage is in trouble, and I'm over here just talking about sales and marketing. I just can't. I can't do that, and I refuse.
You receive so much love and adoration throughout the city from your colleagues, from your peers, to your constituents. How do you remain humble?
Well, this is what a lot of times people don't understand. You will see someone, oh wow, you got this award. Oh my goodness, you're traveling here. I just saw you on this TV show. Yes, check, check, check. But God will always give you a thorn to keep you balanced. So on one side, you will see the accolades, you'll see the growth, you'll see the money, you'll see the cars, and it looks so good. Man, I want that, I want that. But if they are really looking to give to be their best selves, God will give them a little sticking point to remember that they've got to continue to trust him. Now, while that ain't none of your business, right? I will not tell you my thorns, but we all have some.
Sure.
T.D. Jakes talks about on one side how he was growing the church. 1,500 people joined the church at one time, but on one side, his daughter, who was a young girl, 12, 13 years old, was pregnant, right? We all have something to give us that balance so that we can continue to trust what's greater than us.
An always positive and resilient person, Michelle experienced some tough times in her life. In 2010, she was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, the disease that took the life of the legendary comedian Bernie Mac. We asked her to explain that season in her life in one word.
Drastic.
Why drastic?
It was the key that changed everything. And I am incredibly grateful to have been afflicted with something so horrible. In being diagnosed with sarcoidosis, I was forced to look at myself. I was forced to examine my thinking, behaviors, bitterness, my anger, my rage, my righteous indignation is what I was forced to address. Because at the time, I was facing a lot of bitterness with family. And I'm not alone when it comes to having addressed family conflict and family issues. And at the time, it was festering. It was just seasoning within me. I had just gotten laid off from what I thought was an incredible job. Now I'm facing family conflict and crises. And I wake up one day and I can't breathe. Rushed to the ambulance and they gave me a diagnosis that had no cure. And so for months, I was forced to lay down and to be still because breathing was minimal. I'm in extreme pain. I had to move out of my home. And I was humiliated because I was so weak and frail and in pain that my mother, who had to work a 10-hour shift and come home to make sure that I can take a bath. After that, I had to decide how important is my rage and my bitterness. And that was when I decided that I would give all of that up if God would just let me live. And in 6 months, I was able to walk and do things on my own. So I'm grateful that it took such an extreme, drastic measure for me to look in the mirror and say, no more.
No more. What's one word that describes this present season in your life?
This season, up level. That's where I'm at. It's been 6 years of testing, piloting, data, relationship building, skill building, brand awareness. 6 years now. So it's time to use it or lose it. And I am ready for this next level. These first 5 years help build an incredible foundation. You can't create a stage and fly over the world if you have nothing to stand on. Now we have that now. So get ready for the up level of a lifetime.